Today, we're going to be talking about music. Specifically, we're going to be talking about tier lists and music. I like a lot of genres of music, but I want to take albums and bands' discographies and put all their work into a tier list to, by the end of it, make the best album and also see how they've progressed over the years. So today, we're looking at Dance Gavin Dance. Now, Dance Gavin Dance has had some controversial past, recently with the last lead singer, Tillian. I don't agree with anything that Tillian has done, but today we're focused on the music. So, moving on over to the tier list, we have 2 albums, and then I have some mixing of some other work. 2 of the albums I have listened to and rated. So starting off with moving the albums themselves onto the tier list, we have Jackpot Juicer. Jackpot Juicer was my first introduction to Dance Gavin Dance, and overall is more of a hyper-aggressive, kind of poppy, synthy dance kind of album. I very much enjoy this album as a whole, but as the project, if you take it all in, you don't get a story or anything like that. It's very much an amalgamation of a bunch of their very good, fun tracks. So I give this album an A. Then it goes to the Mothership album. I call this the Pineapple album because the figure 8 on it reminds me of like sliced pineapple. Overall, Mothership is a fluctuating good album. I don't think it's a masterpiece by any means, but I do think that there is a lot of good tracks on it, as we'll get into discussion further. So I would give this album also an A. For different reasons, production-wise, I think Jackpot Juicer is a lot more cohesive and together, but Mothership has some heavy hitters on it overall for performance and instrumentally interesting. Okay, so moving on to the discography, the tracks. Again, this isn't their full discography. This is what I have listened to. So overall, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about a track, play a little bit of it, and then put it on the tier list and continue from there. So starting off, we're going to go through Jackpot Juicer a little bit. The first track being Untitled 2. Untitled 2 is a instrumental track, lots of strings, although they are very heavy synthetic strings, very compressed. But let's pop that on and listen to a little bit of it. So it goes in, soft, leads in, and then it ends a little bit more. It has a long note that then kind of slams into the next track. Untitled 2, I think as an album opener, it is pretty decent, but as a song with what it breathes with emotion or anything like that, I very much get taken out of music when there is a lot of synthetic, specifically when it comes to synthetic strings. I like the very rawness of, a string instrument playing, because it is very hard, so there's a lot of emotion and a lot of breathing room into how certain notes can fluctuate slightly that kind of lend to speaking more upon like the artist. So Untitled 2 with the synthetic strings, I'm going to give that a B. I think the fact that it leads into the second song does help it out a lot, and I don't think it is a overall terrible song. I just think that synthetic strings can lead to songs feeling a little bland overall. So the next song, we have Cream of the Crop. Now, this album has a lot of these moments, which I very much enjoy, where it takes a lot of the heavy screaming parts and then it adds like a very almost like floaty, ethereal kind of feeling into kind of these sections. And Tillian's vocals very much complement this style a lot. Cream of the Crop, I think it's a great song. I think it starts to get a little lengthy by the end of it. I think the end, I didn't play it, but the song definitely feels like it was extended a little bit. It doesn't feel as if they were trying to change or do anything new. It just is kind of very musically safe. I still think it's a very good song. I would put it into A. Moving on to the next track, we have Synergy. This has a feature on it. Starting with this, starts off very energetic. It's going to get into that kind of Dance Gavin Dance, kind of rough and tough kind of scream vocals, and then kind of mix in more of that softer feel to it. This song is definitely one of the first one that's very, very dancey. Obviously, it wouldn't play at a club, but you can groove along to it. Yeah, that bass in the back really lends to a groovy feeling to this song. I very much like this song a lot. I think that the feature on it is very good. Vocally, it's very good. Yeah, overall, just a very fun track. I would actually give this one an S. I think it's the perfect length. It's got that nice dancey bass through it. The vocals are all done very well. Mixing on it is very good as well. So yeah, moving on to the next song, we have Holy Ghost Spirit. The intro there is very fun. How that leads into it. See, again, with that like very ethereal kind of swaying back and forth with the vocals, it has that kind of synth in the back that kind of drones in and out. I think Holy Ghost Spirit is a very good song. Lyrically, it's okay, but it's definitely still in the A tier. Moving on to For the Gers. I'll never fail. Goes into more of that dancey feeling to it. I do think that the rough vocals on this song are a little too compressed and sometimes kind of sound a little too like muted in a way. I still think the song is very good. Easy B, like teetering upon going into A tier. I just think that there is some things that it's a song that if you listen to it over and over and over, all of those flaws really kind of come out more prominently. Going on to the next one, we have Ember. This song, with this one's very ethereal feeling, I think this one does it the best. It really hammers down all those like little dancey synths, kind of like if you close your eyes, almost like picturing yourself kind of flowing through space with this song. Hold your tongue and hold tight, just to prevent a fight. Yeah, out of my sight, though you know it ain't right. Yeah, this one, the flow of this song is very, very good. I think Ember is a S tier song. I think lyrically it's quite interesting. I think that the instrumentals are very fun, very flowy. The singing performance is done very well. Yeah, easily an S. Yeah, it definitely comes in aggressive, which is a big thing on this album, is like starting off very strong. Like not many songs start off slow and work its way up. There's a lot of like punchy, and then you get to the slower parts as the song progresses. One of the big staples of this album, I would say. Time off, you want it all though. You got your claws out in cherry red zone. Yeah, this song, very groovy as well. The bass is done very well on this song.
Everywhere you go, there's bad blood. Always bad blood. Yeah.
Another good thing about this album, which does also translate to some of the other tracks for their past albums, Dance Gavin Dance has a very good way of implementing harsh vocals to the point where it isn't as abrasive as when you go and listen to other heavy stuff. I mean, instrumentally, it also helps. But the way that they lead into things does very much kind of sway and help the listener to be able to fully just kind of accept those harsher vocals. And overall, they just do a very good job at that.
You think you're superior? Everyone.
Yeah, this song, very good. Does get a little repetitive, a little lengthy, but still very good song. Yeah, A tier song. I don't have any major gripes with it. I just think that it's a little repetitive at times, a little long. The next song, One Man's Cringe. Again, starting off very strong, very, very hyper, very energetic. This part up here, the high notes that kind of break the instrumental in the background with it, again, just another very good Dance Gavin Dance being able to mix the instrumental with the feeling that the vocals are kind of are giving.
Apathetic, I'll never change
This part here. The way that it just switches over, it's just done very well. Other artists do this. This is a common thing, but the way that they kind of do it multiple times over one track and keep everything very flowy, it doesn't feel as abrasive and harsh to listen to. I think One Man's Cringe, lyrically fun, instrumentally very fun as well. Yeah, I can't really think of any reason why not to put it in S. Let me listen to it a little bit more. Yeah, it gets a little repetitive. A tier. Solid A. Almost S. Maybe S in the future. Maybe S on another day. That brings us halfway done to Jackpot Juicer. Moving on to the next song, we have Feels Bad Man. This is another highly streamed song. It doesn't start as aggressive.
You ever really stop and wonder why?
Yeah, that like pingy guitar in the background of the song, very, very satisfying sounds.
Is your soul fortified?
This song keeps that sway with the aggressive vocals, and I think it does kind of hurt the song overall because they normally just switch up how everything kind of flows and sounds, but they kept it through and through with this. Yeah, it's not too out of place, but it's still instrumentally it makes it a little dull, where the other ones are very, very interesting. Yeah, I'd say it's a B. The pingy guitar, very satisfying. The instrumental and the starting of the track, very good. Overall, though, those harsh vocals just doesn't have the same feeling as the other songs with the harsh vocals. So I think it suffers a little bit from that. Starting very ethereal, very flowy, very, very pretty overall.
Just to see the world. He's losing ground, just lay him down and pop into this place. Take this crop and pull it up, he'll die another day.
I think that switch up there, that moving for the harsher vocals very quickly back into the softer vocals, the way that the instrumental flows with all that swaying that it kind of does, definitely complements this song a lot. I very much enjoy this song. Lyrically, it's very nice as well. I think, yeah, Die Another Day is another S on this album. This track also has that more like pingy guitar. Again, just super satisfying. Yeah, this breakdown at the end. The song does start to get a little repetitive, but the breakdown at the end very much pulls you back in. And then, yeah, that like, yeah, that also very satisfying. Almost mixing the two, kind of like the pingy guitars with the soft vocals with this harsher vocals. Very good song. I think Two Secret Weapons is also a S. Yeah, Dance Gavin Dance. Specifically, Jackpot Juicer has a lot of very good tracks. We got that nice effect on that guitar again with that pinginess, but it's taken with these longer notes, which then complements the harsher vocals. I think the vocals on this, specifically this part, I think they could have done a little bit more instrumentally to kind of tie that in so it didn't sound so... Yeah, it does sound a little out of place. But then it goes back into that... They mix the harsh vocals with the nice instrumental with the more softer background vocals of Tillian, which I think is a very, very cool effect. This is another ethereal... Yeah. It's not as much, it's more of just like a sway pop kind of vibe with the way that this one switches up.
Your flavor, then she gone and fuck somebody else. That chick is danger.
Lyrically, it's okay. It's not too interesting overall, but the instrumental and everything is very good. I think this is a high B, almost an A.
Defend your code. Nothing lasts forever. Be free. Hatch another tale for you to say.
This song is mostly the softer vocals with that more pingy guitar. No, not complaining at all with it. I think it sounds great. I think the mixing on this song is very, very good too.
But all you give is ammunition. You underrate the return. Damage jacket.
And then it sways. It goes into a like sway kind of back and forth into this kind of faster, more dancey style.
Rabbit taste on your tongue.
There is a breakdown with some harsher vocals. Yeah. But this one very much dumbs down the instrumental and just kind of like tracks it with these kind of like blippy beeping guitar effects. Which I think very much makes this song, unlike when they take just the harsher vocals and there isn't too much interesting going on, this one doesn't have to worry about that. Yeah, I think Long Nights in Jail is very good. I think the vocals are... Oh, I don't have Long Nights in Jail. So I'm missing 3 tracks. I'm missing Long Nights in Jail and Back on Deck and Current Events. So I will add those when editing. Long Nights in Jail lyrically has some weird things about it. I'd still give it a high B overall. That the instrumental is just done very well for this song. Continuing on, we have Back on Deck.
She whispers sweet bullshit in my ear, but I
The like wobbly synthy guitar I think is very, very interesting for this song.
always wanna hear.
Because it's all without any singing. It's all on the opposite, so it keeps you kind of going through, like it almost kind of like locks you into the song.
Didn't take long for my eyes can burn my flesh. The smell of honesty. Oh, my favorite fear.
And then it has this kind of like vacuum sucky kind of synth. that like that with the harsh vocals kind of ties in because you still have that pangy. Yeah, this song, Back on Deck, I would give this one an A. Moving on to current events. That harsh vocals, very heavy synthy, pangy guitar, background heavy drums. This one flips back and forth a lot to the softer vocals and the harsher ones. Lyrically, the song is interesting, very much with like social media and everything, kind of talking about just everyone wanting to give their opinion on things. But yeah, I would give this song a solid A, teetering on S. I think that the effects in the song are very, very well done. Continuing on. Yeah, the effects that they use on the guitars for this album, it matches so much with the synths that they use. Sometimes it's kind of hard to distinguish which is which. But yeah, these guitars are just kind of immaculate, awesome throughout this whole album. This song has like a sway in that kind of like, it almost kind of keeps you just kind of like almost bouncing off the vocals. Very like wet synths as well. And then we get into... I think here the vocals do kind of drown out in the instrumental a little bit. This song has very, very high potential, but the mixing kind of takes it down a lot. Still overall a very good track though. I'm going to put it in high B, almost A. Yeah, so next we have Swallowed by Eternity. The last two songs are a lot slower, but I mean for the total 18 track album, 3 of the songs kind of starting off slower. Definitely they wanted to keep the hitting of each song kind of going one after the other. Swallowed by Eternity though.
Sing my soul, sold my soul.
This song it's very good. I have a check mark by it. I think that this should have been the ending track. I like the ending track, but I think this song, I mean, I already know what I'm gonna give this song. It's a long song, but the way that it shifts and everything, it's worth the time to listen to it. Like it doesn't feel long.
Is there a point to it when my favorite outlet?
It starts hitting, it goes slower, and then it kind of comes back and it hits again.
It's a miracle that I got this far. It's a miracle that I got this far.
And then it all just kind of slams together. And then this is really when the song like starts, really vamps up. But the whole beginning is just so well done instrumentally.
I got this far. It's a goddamn miracle that I... No one's left to say.
The way that it switches back, that guitar kind of just shredding in the background to kind of like lead you out of these harsh vocals into these soft ones. But I think the ending of this song definitely shows, in my opinion, why I think it should have been the ending track. The layering of vocals, the kind of swaying back and forth that it has, the poppiness that it has, it kind of like speaks for the whole album as what it is. And then it slowly drones out that guitar. But the next song does kind of lead off of that. So if you can think of it all as one track, that instead of just being 5 minutes, it's, 8 minutes long. But I think this song, Swallowed by Eternity, is easily an S. I think the instrumental is done very well. The mixing is done very well. The creativeness with bringing in these vocals lyrically, it's very interesting. It's very much, well, it is what the song is titled, Swallowed by Eternity. It's a lot of bringing you in, consuming your life, kind of stuff like that. Going on to the last track, we have a Great Life. So it does kind of lead in, so I'll play that. Droning guitar. I mean, the transition actually isn't as smooth as I thought it was. I thought it was more quiet in the beginning of this song.
Said that it was over, but you pulled me back in. Pursuing me. Code red.
I think that the softer vocals kind of going with the more aggressive is interesting, and it works very well for this song.
Every time I need to find a way out, there's only code red. Every time I need to find a way out, the day stay. I won't stop no matter how long it
That transition to the last part of the song, that kind of like slower vocals to that loud high note that Tillian hits, and then kind of just the way that the song kind of peters out from that. I still think it's a very good song, but I think Swallowed by Eternity by a long shot should have been the ending track lyrically as well. I would have to give it a B though. I think high B. But that finishes off Jackpot Juicer. Overall, I mean, from S's to A's to B's, this is a very good kind of look into this album. Basically, the reason that the A's aren't up is because they kind of stay where they are in terms of like doing a lot of interesting things. They do what they did, and it is interesting, but it isn't enough to kind of take it to S. And then B's are a lot of mixing problems, and then just kind of like lyrically they're not that great. Or I mean, like Untitled, I'm gonna actually move Untitled 2. I think Untitled 2 should be in low B. Thinking more about, actually I changed my mind, Untitled 2 is in C. Those synthy strings kind of, yeah, I think this looks a lot better in my head for how it should be. Moving on, we'll go to the next album, Mothership. Now, Mothership is a lot more abstract, I think, especially with the titles of the tracks. So starting off, the intro track is very aggressive. We have Chucky versus the Giant Tortoise. These kind of like, it's a lot more of like this kind of rough and tough kind of effect they have on a lot of the guitar on this album. Like, it kind of makes it choppy. Lyrically, this song kind of speaks for a lot of the album, talking about, parties and lying and very much a flaunting your wealth with what does that mean for you emotionally? Does it actually grant you anything satisfactory to your life by doing this?
Tell me that I look just like a man. 'Cause lately, baby, I've been going crazy.
Yeah, tackling like insecurities as well. This song is very, very good. I think as a starting for an album, it's a little weird. There's a lot of other songs that I think do better instrumentally as a intro, but I mean, because it's kind of speaking upon what you're about to hear for the entire track, it still does a decent job. So Chucky versus the Giant Tortoise is high A. I'd put it, I don't think it's better than Cream of the Crop, or I think it's better than Holy Ghost Spirit though. I think, yeah, that's where I'd put that. Very good song. Moving on to Young Robot. kind of more of like this pangy kind of back, like in the background kind of guitar, and then it cuts in with the vocals. Again, that guitar, very rough with the soft vocals. It's not enough to really hurt it overall. In terms of like rough vocals on this album, I think there's a lot less. It kind of moves into more of this, instead of this more like ethereal feeling, it kind of gives more of a almost like a party kind of feeling. The vocal effects on this song I think are very good. They kind of use like this stuttering kind of fading vocal, and I think especially for Tillion's vocals they work very well with it. Young Robot I think is a very good song. I think that honestly I'd put it up right next to Chucky versus the Giant Tortoise. Yeah, moving on to the next one, we have Frozen One. Yeah, this one starts very aggressive. It has like a very high pitched on the guitar, and I think mixing wise, that if that was maybe kind of melded into it a little bit better, it would sound with the harsh vocals and with the high, it kind of has a lot of highs and lows that already are fluctuating, which I think kind of hurts it ever so slightly. For a good portion of the song, it starts with that kind of very high guitar, but then they use it to their advantage in the song. I still think it should have been mixed a little bit lower, but I think these higher vocals with kind of this like kind of very droning, almost like hypnotic repetitive guitar, like the same kind of that was in the beginning, works really well. And then you go back into the softer. Yeah, I think this song is very good. It does, I think this does kind of start the decline of tracks in this album, just ever so slightly. I think it's high B. Actually, I would say Have a Great Life is better, but like looking at all of these ones, I would say it's in that same realm of like, it's very good, but if the mixing was just slightly better, it would bring it up to an A, and then if they started doing a little bit more layers and more interesting things, we would have an S. Moving to the next track, a track I very much dislike, Flossy Dicky Bounce.
Cocaine.
So we have this very cringy intro, in my opinion, and then we move into those pow, pow, pow. Like, that is probably one of the worst mixed things on this entire album. Lyrically, and like the vocal performance on this song, I think, honestly, we have our first D. Yeah, overall, not a fun track, not a great track. I think they definitely tried to do something fun with it, you know, with this whole like, you know, poppy part, like the party aspect, and like kind of bringing in the vocal like fluctuations on the whole cocaine thing. But like honestly, it kind of just it almost, I mean, it's funny because it's Flossy Dicky Bounce, and it's very much like a Little Dicky kind of. That's all that I can think of is like Little Dicky's Brain and like Cocaine, that song, and like with this, and just it gives me the same kind of ick listening to it. So very quickly, moving on to the next song, the next track, we have Deception, which I think is a very good track.
Better wake up before it's all gone.
I think that the flow of the song is very good. I think when it comes in with that long note, it's very complimentary to the song, kind of switching from the harder stuff to this more, I mean, it kind of taps into this like etherealness that they did on Jackpot Juicer. Just ever so slightly. I don't think it's as dynamic and everything as Jackpot Juicer, but I think Deception, starting the whole lyrical part about, you know, lying and everything and like what that kind of makes you feel when you're in the moment, I think it's a easy A. I don't think it's better than, honestly, yeah, I would put it right there, kind of fading out a little bit of the Jackpot Juicer. But yeah, I think it's a great track. I think mixed very well. So moving on, we have Inspire the Liars. I like how when the heavy vocals are coming in, like Tillian has that like little humming bit that it almost feels like it's kind of like swirling around to kind of keep you engaged in the song. And then we have this 2 minutes of like this kind of aggressive back and forth, the swirling vocals, and then it kind of just goes into this really, really fun breakdown. Almost very much like at the beginning, you know, talking about the inspiration to lie, and then this is kind of the fully going into lying, kind of showing yourself as someone who's obviously better, to kind of feel the feeling of like people liking you and all that. I think that the breakdown is very good, and it kind of just is this like repetitive. It isn't repetitive in a negative sense. It's very much to lend and lead out of the song. Inspire the Liars, I would put actually above Cream of the Crop. I really like this song. Going to the next song, we have Philosopher King. I think that this breakdown is very interesting, kind of almost lending off of the last song. Philosopher King. I would say that this song is up near Pop Off. I don't think it's as interesting instrumentally as Holy Ghost Spirit, but yeah, it's still a very good track, and I think that what it kind of does for the album is how it breaks away from Deception and Inspire the Liars is very good. Kind of getting to the tail end of this album, I do think that the album kind of falls off a little bit. Yeah, I think the song just kind of goes on too long for instrumentally what it's doing. It isn't all that interesting. Here Comes the Winter, I would say is a B. Yeah, it's not as interesting as For the Gers or Feels Bad Man. It's just kind of okay. Moving on to Exposed. This song has a very nice effect on the vocals. Just that little light effect on the like the truth and everything. Yeah, this song going back into the tone of the album. Yeah, seeing like the truth in your eyes and all of that, and how much the lying has affected you. And yeah, lyrically, I think it's a decent song. I like the effects. I think it is probably not in A, but it's very close. I would say it's a little bit above Have a Great Life. I would say that if I could, I'd put them in the exact same spot. But yeah, moving on to the next song, we have Betrayed by the Game. This song starts off so hard, and with that guitar, the way that it kind of like pings off, very much something you would hear in Jackpot Juicer. Yeah, I think the song starts off as a 10 in my opinion.
All my fears are open now. Never saw you, not mentally.
And this is where the song really falls off, because the harsh vocals, the background instrumental, they tried to do that same thing that they did in Jackpot Juicer. Song's not coming to me right now, but where they take the harsh vocals and they kind of really drone out all the instrumental, but they don't have anything interesting kind of looping you, keeping you engaged in it. Like they just have this heavy drum, but they need like that like pingy guitar or you know, something similar to that. Song starts off so good, but overall I think Betrayed by the Game does kind of fall down into the category of B. Definitely a little bit better than, you know, these songs from Jackpot Juicer, but Frozen 1 really takes over. Moving on to the next song, we have Petting Zoo Justice. Yeah, this song has a lot of harsh vocals. When the light vocals come in from Tillian, that kind of like staticky, almost like stuttering kind of high note does break the song, but that doesn't change anything from what it's trying to do, because it just goes back into these harsher vocals very quickly, which just kind of hurts the song. I would give the song a C. It's just the idea that they were trying to do was very smart and just kind of fails with the mixing and the execution of the track. Moving on to the second to last track, we have Chocolate Jackalope.
Young enough to feel it, my body's gleaming from the back of the dinnerware.
See, again, this is another example of, you know, they do a lot for the light vocals, but they learned later on that for the harsher vocals, they still need to implement other things in the background to kind of keep you engaged. But all they have is this hi-hats kind of going. They do have this kind of breakdown throughout the song with these like very like almost hyper pop vocals, the way that it kind of starts in the beginning.
Up in the casino, ain't no doubt I'm about to let it all go. You used to call me on my cell phone.
Like especially the call me on my cell phone part, like the way that those vocals are kind of very like squeezed and heightened.
But now you're petting all my friends for sure.
And then you have the harsher vocals with not too much happening. I think this song is a blueprint for Jackpot Juicer in a lot of ways, but doesn't really fully flesh everything out that Jackpot Juicer does. I think it's a high C, higher than Untitled 2. Going on to the last track, we have Man of the Year.
Eyes down, don't you gaze on others. Pay no mind.
Yeah, we have the same kind of thing as Swallowed by Eternity, where it starts off kind of slower and then builds up and builds up. This one kind of crashes very hard though. But they keep interesting instrumentals to keep you engaged in it. I do think that the light vocals that Tillian does, the performance on it is a little... Like, I understand the raspiness to kind of complement the harsher vocals before, but you already have the instrumental complementing that, so then it just becomes... It's in an unintentional bad performance. And then we move into the Tillian trying to flow, trying to rap a little. And that's the part where this this song kind of takes me out of it. It does a lot of very good things, and it starts at an S. And then by the end of it, you kind of feel drained for how long it is. I would say it kind of moves up from a lower S to a lower A to a high B. I wouldn't put it near Have a Great Life, but I will put it just behind it. Yeah, that leads us into the kind of stragglers. So next up we have We Own the Night.
Forget my jealousy. You swallowed the
I think it starts off very good. The swaying guitar, the kind of pinginess to it. This one is off of the Instant Gratification album, which is overall as an album not that great. I did review the entire album, but I think by the end of it, it would just be a lot of songs in not high tiers. So I just kind of picked what I liked from this one.
There's nothing left for me.
I think that this song has one of the best breakdowns in all of Dance Gavin Dance songs. We got that nice kind of pingy guitar.
Call your phone and open up my face, 'cause I know you're so connected.
And then it kind of turns into this kind of like almost funk kind of feeling to it. And then we get these very nice vocals.
Feel my toes go golden up in flames. Get me Operation Iraqi.
And then it gives this aggressive end to the song. I would say that We Own the Night is actually a S. I would actually put it there. Also, I meant to move Swallowed by Eternity. I don't think Swallowed by Eternity should be there. I think it should be about there. Yeah, We Own the Night, very, very good track. Moving on to the next, we have I've Inspired the Liars on here twice, just in purple. So, no more instant gratification songs. Moving on to, let's do Count Basie. Count Basie is off of Artificial Selection.
So you don't believe in
Song, the kind of very like starry scene that it kind of paints. I give this easily an S. I think even by the end of the song, it's not high S, because by the end of the song it does kind of get a little rough with some of the rougher vocals. With that effect, they do this effect sometimes where they add an echo onto the vocals, a lot of the times with the harsher vocals, which leads to this more abrasive feeling, and they're already trying to add an interesting instrumental to complement the harsher vocals, but when they do that, they're kind of undoing a little bit of their work. But I still think the song awesome, great song. Moving on, going to Care.
For now we'll lay by the ocean. For now no one is around. For now we'll never come down.
This one again, it has that same using the softer vocals to help keep you engaged in the song with the harsher ones.
You still care. I never wanted to be caught up in not looking back. I never wanted to.
Yeah, this song is very good. It has a very good breakdown. I would say it is a high A. I would put it next to Holy Ghost Spirit and Deception. Yeah, moving on to the next and final one from Artificial Selection, we have Son of Robot.
You can be lonely.
I think this is an early song where they really just had a good formula for the harsh vocals and the softer vocals.
Show me the way you're growing. You like you.
Yeah, and then the song fades out quite nicely. Yeah, Son of Robot, very good. I put it right next to Care, honestly. I just think they both do the same thing. They both have very interesting instrumentals that complement both of the vocal styles and keep you engaged lyrically. Actually, I'm going to put Son of Robot a little ahead because I think lyrically it's a bit more interesting. But yeah, I do realize I had some alternate colors of some of the songs off of Mothership. But yeah, that leads us to our tier list. So if we take the songs here and do a perfect 12-song album, we have Synergy, Ember, We Own the Night, Swallowed by Eternity, Die Another Day, Two Secret Weapons, Count Basie, Inspire the Liars, Cream of the Crop, Chucky vs. Giant Tortoise, Young Robot, and then it ends off with Deception. Probably wouldn't be in that order. I'd probably change things around to Swallowed by Eternity being the last song because, I mean, that's what it should have been for Jackpot Juicer. But that's going to be the video for today. This is the first tier list. I'm going to be doing lots of other ones. If you have any recommendations for discographies that I could kind of quickly go through, whether it be the full ones or just kind of grabbing a bunch of different songs that I end up enjoying, leave them in the comments below. But that concludes the video for today. If you enjoyed what you watched, like, comment, and subscribe, and come back for another day where we talk about or do some other topics. Thank you for watching the video.